Looks like live on YouTube or on Zoom. Are we live? There we go. Now we're live on YouTube as well. So I can't say good morning because it's definitely not morning anymore, even though this is called Morning Mojo and Coffee Chat. The coffee is all gone, and I am, picking up on my water. But I really have been trying to get here for the past couple of days and do a live. And there's just been so much going on for me personally and the household here and with my New Light Streaming Love team members. Want to just kind of give everybody a bit of an update. Um, and boy, oh boy, will we have conscious conversations about all of what is transpiring for and with my teammates. Lisa is still in the hospital, and and believe you me, there's quite the story behind what's been going on there, both physically and metaphysically. And the same thing for Crystal. Everyone seems to be at this point okay. There's nothing life threatening that we are aware of. And there definitely is metaphysical things uh, in all of this. Oh my. We got card number 31. I don't think I've ever had this card from the Rumi deck before. I don't recall this picture. And it's called Commitment. And I really don't recall this ever coming out before. So that's very interesting that that card come out. And I'm going to tell you what I'm getting right away from that is that's kind of what at least for myself, there has to be a level of surrender and commitment to self, to be honest with you, to seeing all of me, even those parts that I don't want to see. And, again, I think that's probably true for all of us, but I can only speak for myself in that. And that 31 is a 4 numerologically, which is all about foundation. And the 3 is the Trinity, and the 1 is the I am. So very interesting. Oh, wow. And the shaman card, the alchemy elementals deck, gave us sky, snow, and earth. And boy, if that doesn't show to me about the coming from within, right? Which in some ways really feels like what I think all of us are moving through. Each being, it will present differently for everyone because we are unique in that. And in whatever one is moving through, right? It's going to look different, feel different, but the bottom line to all of it has to do with, for me anyway, again, seeing what I have not been able to see, right? The traumas, the programming and conditioning, the which it's a cumulative thing, right? It happens and it continues to build on itself. And for me, it takes a level of commitment. And I don't know that I've been totally committed. In many ways, I can see where I haven't been totally committed to myself, um, especially where my physicality is concerned. Ooh, that one, huh? Okay. Um, so very interesting that. It's always great when it flies across the room. You are adored. Okay. And now one more from the surrender deck. Oh, I just heard no, not one more, because the fairies want to come out and play too. The surrender deck, I knew I just, because there are still some things apparently that I haven't surrendered. Oh, that's interesting. The Sky, Snow, Earth card is 44. Wow, which is a master number, which is wow. Okay, so there's a lot in that. That one came flying off right at the top. So I want to make sure that okay. Surrender to Joy came out, and this other one, oh, this one definitely has to be Surrender Your Fear of Intimacy. And so this is actually, that's a good question that I would like to pose to anyone who may see this. And I would really love it if you would comment, because there's no one watching right now, apparently, but me. And that's cool because that's what I've always said. This is for me. What is your definition of intimacy? Everyone has a different definition of intimacy. And back in 2017, I met another being. His channel name was Lunacy, and that was Lunasee. And I don't think he actually does his YouTube channel anymore. But he was the first one to structure the word intimacy as into me, see. And that really, really, really made a lot of sense to me because I knew that I had a different definition of intimacy than my husband at that time did. Okay, now this is very interesting to me too. Okay, apparently I have had this Rumi card at least once because I actually marked it in this book. I do not recall as to why I marked it. So that's very interesting to me again. So, and it wants to be the first one to be read here. So the card is commitment. The awakened heart is like a lantern. Keep it sheltered from the turbulence of the winds of desire. Rumi. We are candles lit by the one great flame. The breath of life does not extinguish us. On the contrary, it only serves our flame to blaze brighter. Here, in the temple of one love, there is no flickering or smoke to our flame. We are natural in our purpose, simply to bring the warmth and light of love to life. We dance, though we are stillness. We are on fire, though we do not burn. There is a flame that must be safeguarded. In truth, it can never be extinguished. It is the light that never goes out. Even with such enduring power, our recognition and respect of this flame is essential to human development. This flame is holy and lies within each human heart. When the flame is recognized for its worth, it ceases to flicker and smoke, becoming very still. In the stillness, oh my gosh, in the stillness, The light can fulfill its destiny to shine brightly, so that to shine brightly, so that as to reveal every path absolutely clear and without wavering in the fluctuations of fear and attachment. Desire does not have to be a hindrance on the path. It can show us our passions and help us find our purpose. However, the attachment that can come with desire, the belief that it can be sated only with one particular person, one set of circumstances, can cause us to stop looking at what that the light is revealing to us, the way forward on our path in the here and now, and instead try to forcibly conjure the shadows to become what we imagine they should be. When we stop seeing life as it is, showing up for us every moment and engaging with it as it is, we can become careless with the light of the heart. Our huffing and puffing to force what does not need to be forced can cause the heart light to flicker and waver. This can make our way seem uncertain, and doubts can crowd in upon us as the light is compromised in its purpose. We forget to trust in what is because we got caught up in attachment and fear surrounding our desires. Rather than letting life move us, we try to move life. Wow, I've been guilty of that. There is a way forward on your life path that needs to be seen by you now. It will be helpful for you to have that clarity and that certainty. You you might have already caught a glimpse of it, but be doubting your vision or yourself. This oracle comes as a reminder to you. Don't doubt. What you are feeling deep within the passionate love of your heart light is true. It is real. You are being led into it by the progress of life itself. You must trust in this, even if it seems at times as though you are being led away from the vision. You know what's so interesting about this? I just had a beautiful conversation with my sister, and she said to me, you know, I hope you haven't allowed everything that's happened in the last few years for you to give up on your dreams of what you had planned to do with your van, Candy Girl. And I feel like this is confirmation of the truth of what she was saying. And I am so grateful to receive that right now, because I told her that I hadn't allowed that to die. But I had been wondering, was it ever going to be? Personally, I know that I'm not physically ready for that. And so I do understand exactly what this is saying here to that, right? And I see it, and you can't deny that kind of synchronicity, man. I mean, I can't. You might be able to, but I can't. Wow. I'm going to say that last little part right now. What you are feeling deep within the passionate love of your heart light is true. It is real. You are being led into it by the progress of life itself. You must trust in this, even if it seems at times as though you are being led away from that vision. Life operates according to a genius that is beyond a linear approach. It is to be trusted rather than understood. There is enough challenge in the personal transformation being asked of you to simply take the steps. That is more than enough. You don't have to also create or control the terrain, nor determine the map for the journey. You simply need to take each step that presents itself to you in each moment. Don't let fear that your desire won't manifest cause you to try to bend life to your will. It is an unnecessary battle and one that will not serve your soul here. Instead, just show up, be present, attend to what is before you in each moment, and trust yourself. Let the light of your heart take you into serenity that will bring, wow, because that is so true, bring you the balm of a solid core of comfort, even whilst the world shifts and changes according to the workings of divine will. As you move along your life journey, step by step, that divine will is moving you to Shining One, moving you to Shining One into fulfillment of your destiny. Life is not working at cross purposes with you, far from it. It is a co conspirator with your heart. Come back to the stillness of the love within and know your heart light to be what it is, reliable and reliable and true, showing you the way even now in peace and stillness. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is so lovely. And I said to her, I said, I haven't allowed those dreams to die. It just seems like it's taken a lot longer for it to manifest. And how beautiful is that, man? Oh, I forgot to pull the fairy cards. I hear you guys over there. So the surrender cards that came up was again surrender to joy. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. I really feel like that's good advice no matter what's happening. But now I'm going to say this one again because I know now there's some folks watching, and depending on when you tuned in, you may not have heard me say this. This one is surrender your fear of intimacy, and I'm really very interested to know what others what's your definition of intimacy, because it is different for each being. And, you know, I just very interested. A lot of people will say, well, sex is intimacy. And yes, it is. But in truth, there's only a certain amount of intimacy that is required for sex, generally. Uh, Unless you're on a different path, a lot of folks haven't nearly developed the amount of intimacy. I have said many times that I have been more intimate out here on the internet, on my YouTube channel, with all of you than I've ever been with any sexual partner. For me, that is the definition of intimacy. Journey into It says vulnerability, connection. Yes, absolutely. And that's why I say there's a certain level of that that comes with sex for me, but it's certainly not at all the be all end all. So this says surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. I love that because, in truth, like I said, there is a certain level of intimacy that one could reach. However, it's almost as though, I mean, I'm just going to speak for myself here. Prior to now, and ever since my last marriage broke up, I didn't even have the proper intimacy with myself. So, how in the world could I expect to have a relationship with anyone where I wasn't properly intimate with my own self. We're too worried that if we show the true being that we are with so and so over here, well, they won't like me. They won't be attracted to me. So we sort of hide who we are until years down the line, we start being ourselves and relationships break up, right? Instead of going into it fully knowing that we are all traumatized, that we all have defensive mechanisms that are connected to programming and conditioning and trauma, and be working on that together. And I cannot tell you how empowering and how freeing it has been to live in community with people who are doing the exact same work on themselves that I am doing on mine, to the point where we can help each other. Because if I'm triggered, it doesn't matter what it is. If I get triggered, there's something within me to look at, and I'm aware of that now in a way that I've never been aware of before. And so the universe card that wanted to come out is "You are adored." And it says, don't be fooled by the quote players, and don't be fooled by yourself. There's no one more lovable nor loved than you. And I know everyone. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't we have that? I think we had that last week or week before. That's very interesting. Now, this one definitely wants to be read, but also the fairies are just yelling at me. Now, Journey Intuit is the only one that answered my question about what is your definition of intimacy. And I do know that a lot of you will see this later when it's not live. And so, if you would please, I would love to hear what your definition is, because just because my definition is what it is doesn't mean I love to. And actually, at some point, perhaps that's a point of a conscious conversation. I don't know. Well, that, and there's a couple of other things that I really, really, really want to get into conscious conversation with beings about. Oh, Penelope Dreamweaver came out. That's very interesting. I love her. So the first one that wants to be read, though, is the Alchemy Elementals deck, which that one is says on the card that it's number 44. Sky, snow, earth. Sky, snow, earth. Card number 60, or page number 60. So again, I still haven't gotten to the bottom of this, and I'm gonna leave this book out so I won't forget. I gotta figure out why this numbering system is the way it is, and I apologize for my voice, but as you might imagine, because things are going the way they are here with my housemate being in the hospital, and we've had that weird snow fall up here where I am. And even though I didn't go out in it, and even though I have been taking very good care of myself, um, there's been now all of a sudden I feel like I'm trying to come down with something. And when I woke up this morning and it was moving. And it's one of those deals where it's moving. I think part of this is also my pineal, because it's giving that horrific taste down the back of my throat, but also um, it's causing a bit of a cough and all of that kind of thing. And now it's moving into my chest area, I think, but it's moving very quickly because I'm treating it with elderberry syrup, colloidal silver, my 2.5 from, my conga machine. Well, not my conga machine, but a conga machine. And also the for your benefit, Journey, some of the TRS. Okay, so this is the card. It is sky, snow, earth. Holding on to resentments and negative feelings toward others is easy. It's also a great way to shut down your heart. Oh boy, this is very interesting to me, especially since what's been going on with my housemate has to do with the heart. I'm going to say that again. Holding on to resentments and negative feelings toward others is easy. It's also a great way to shut down your heart and turn it into stone. It is far more challenging to keep your heart open and to accept people for who they are and where they're at without judgment, without expectation, and without an agenda. It's also far more rewarding. Holding unconditionally loving and accepting space for the people in your life takes courage and compassion. You are being asked to see your family and your friends and your community through the heart and to sidestep the trappings of the mind that would have you judging them, resenting them, and wishing they were different. To heal the collective, we must heal ourselves and our relationships and allow our tribe members the space they need to learn and to grow at their own pace and in their own ways. And I have to tell you, I was the worst about telling folks, well, if you only knew, then you wouldn't do this and that and the other. And I know the right way, and you better follow right along and do what I tell you. No, I'm telling you, that was me to a T. But I now know with all of me, and I've said this before, so this is nothing y'all haven't heard, that you can only fix you. And anytime you are pointing your finger out saying, but these guys out here, you ain't looking at you. That's what I found out for myself. Number one. Number two, I now realize with all of me, every being came here to experience things completely differently from me. If the whole idea was for us all to experience stuff the exact same way, we would have, number one, but number two, where this whole thing of meeting folks where they are, accept people for who they are, without judgment, without expectation, without agenda. A person's level of consciousness is where it is. There's a Bible verse that says, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And this is what this is referring to. If we try to force anything onto a person who is not ready, do you realize that we could cause a psychological break with reality? Once I saw what I had done to a being that I thought I was trying to help. And it wasn't until way after the fact that I realized what I had done. The level of trauma that I saw in that girl's eyes when I realized finally that I had done that, I felt so badly. There was nothing I could do about it because it had already happened. But the truth of the matter is, for me, oh boy, did I learn a lesson in that. The reason that people cannot hear what we have to say is because they're not ready to hear it. And it's really not our place because we have no idea what they are here to experience and to what level of consciousness they're ready to transform into. Not everybody, this whole idea of enlightenment, I'm sorry, this is what I now know that is part of my problem with the overall light worker community. Because once you get to a certain level or whatever, you think you know the best way for everybody. And the truth of the matter is, that's not how it works. It is a very individually unique thing. And all any of us can do is look right in here and work with this. Because then, as you walk around, you don't even got to say anything to anybody. You don't have to do anything. That level of healing that I have accomplished, hopefully, in my life is freely available in my field to everyone I come in contact with, whether I say anything or not. If their consciousness is at a point where they're ready, they will come and begin asking questions. That's what I have come to feel for myself. Now, it doesn't mean I stop myself from saying the little things that I feel led to say when I say them, when I'm out in public or whatever. But in truth, it's all a very individuated thing as far as I'm concerned. And I got to tell you, that's one of the most important things I learned was it is not my place to try to fix or heal anybody but me. That is my only job is to work on me. As much as I love family members, loved ones, strangers, the human race as a whole, not my job, man, not my job. Just not. So, Penelope Dreamweaver, this is all about inspiration, magical dreams, and visions. Weaver of dreams, bringer of visions, muse of artistic inspiration. Penelope weaves tapestries in the mind of with threads of light, color, and sound. When she comes to us in dreams, we waken under her enchantment and rush for our paints or clay or other forms of expression. In this painting, Brian has shown us Penelope, his own inspiration fairy, but we each have one who is more than willing to help us. Hold on a second, I got to get some water. Mine says to call her Grace because she says she isn't exactly someone I deserve, just someone I'm lucky enough to have in my life. She plays hard at inspiring me, as does Penelope with Brian. Penelope says she is very pleased with Brian's results of her inspirations, but when I looked hopefully at Grace to see what she thinks about me, she just shrugs her shoulders. Then she flashes me a wicked grin, so I think it's okay. Inspiration fairies like their jobs, but they get really bored when people don't pay attention to them. Then they sit around and file their fingernails while they think troublesome and mischievous thoughts. Sometimes they get exasperated enough to send us nightmares in an attempt to get us to wake up. These fairies and their sisters, the fairies of expression, work together as teams, helping us in our creative endeavors. The fairies of inspiration sprinkle us with special inspiration fairy dust so that we come up with ideas rather like fertilizing a plant. Do you know what plants are fertilized with? Right? Grace says. Then her sisters, the fairies of expression, help us to, to give form to our creativity, manifesting it with our own particular talents. Seek visions and inspiration. Be aware that they are often subtle and require close attention. Fantasies, dreams, daydreams are all places an inspiration fairy can contact us, but she can also pop up unannounced in the midst of the most ordinary activities, in the bath, washing the dishes, driving the car, or anywhere else that our mind is only half occupied and half running on idle. Pay special attention to unsought inspirations at this time. They have something wonderful to offer you, but it is up to you to catch them and bring them into reality. Well, that's very interesting because there have been some inspirations that have come of late, and I've been keeping keeping them written because some of them will require a little more of my attention that I have right now to give. Well, this has been a beautiful reading today, as far as I'm concerned. I hope that you found something here for you. Um, I really do feel like uh, we do have a lot coming to us very shortly here. I mean, very shortly here. Why do I say that? Oh, I know why. Probably because of my upcoming move. Because I am being shown, the reason I asked that question just now was because I am being shown where there's already a lot that I'm being shown, that I'm moving through personally, with what's going on with my other team members, Journey into It, Crystal, and also, Lisa. And so I'm kind of excited myself. I love what's happening. I mean, not I'm not excited that Crystal had an accident, and I'm not excited that they're both in pain. Please don't misread that. But I'm excited to feel into what is happening and the why behind it, right? So that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found something here for you. And I hope that you will continue to move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you, because surrendering to that joy is, for me, where it's at. Yeah. So until we meet again, my friends, be well. And if you can't be well, ask yourself, just ask yourself questions. Until then.